Paltrocast.
Good morning. How's your day going aside from answering the same questions over and over and over again today?
You are so kind, Darren. Good morning. It's so nice to see you, and I'm doing great. Coming off a wonderful weekend that was both relaxing but also very celebratory. We had the launch for the book here in LA after doing all the East Coast stuff last month. So I'm great. Tired but great.
Right. So, one of the questions I have, because I've interviewed cast from some of the films that you've produced before,
I was gonna say I remember seeing your name on press sheets before. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is not about me. This is about you. It's now what do we call you? Because there's author, producer, writer, director. Is there a simple way of calling you these days?
I guess if I had to summarize it in one word, maybe storyteller. Maybe we throw storyteller out there, but I guess like I don't know, if you were throwing me into like okay, they're walking into the room, what headline do we give them? I guess maybe filmmaker and author. Maybe that is the tidy one.
I like storyteller. Let's go with
Okay.
that. So,
Go with storyteller.
So with the book of Luke, writing a book is not something you just do overnight. It's a long process, and even once you turn it in, it's still not going to come out for like 6 to 18 months. So
Two
when
years in my case.
2 years in your case, okay. So I was curious about the overlap between the book of Luke and the Surrender or Peak Season.
Yes, well, both films fell into the Book of Luke development process. So I started writing the Book of Luke in 2019. That's when I put my fingers to the keyboard on that first draft. And so in that span of time, because COVID fell into that time as well. In addition to the films, there was a pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, and so the first draft took almost 18 months to write because the COVID really slowed me down in there. And then it was probably another 2 years of drafting, sharing with friends, making cuts, making adjustments, working with my agent until we took it out to market in 2023 and sold it to my wonderful editor, Jackie Young at Grand Central. And then it was another 2 years, almost, it was basically 2 years in 1 week from signing that paperwork to the book being out. So, very long process. But
Yeah.
yes, in the midst of all that, I produced the film Midday Black, Midnight Blue that starred Merritt Weaver up in Washington. And I did that one literally between finishing the first draft and starting that second process. The next year, we did both Peak Season and a film I directed, Lavender Men, fell right in the middle of the exact same time because I did those two movies simultaneously. Uh, I'd handed off a draft to my agent,
Right.
did those two films, came back, and then The Surrender happened right right between right between drafts that I had sent my editor. So yeah, so amidst I guess the math is one book equals four movies.
Yeah, so the follow-up to all that, you get an audiobook release, and not everybody gets the audiobook treatment. Did that slow down the release even further, or is that
Oh
concurrent?
gosh. It was all concurrent. So I was joking, and I don't think I think this is all public knowledge. So at least at Hachette, the publisher I work with,
Hmm.
Hachette Audio is kind of like the Vatican City within Rome. They have their own schedules, timelines
Yeah.
within the publishing process, and we I know that it's a for audiobooks, it's basically a 6 month timeline working back from your pub day. So at that point, pretty much all the creative stuff for the book itself
Hmm.
has been locked because it's going into the actual physical production processes part of it. And so uh, the whole creative part of the audiobook kind of happens after the creative part of the written book is done. And for my audiobook, I was also just very fortunate that my audiobook narrator, Charlie Thurston, happens to be one of my dearest friends. We've known each other for 16 years. We were in grad school together.
Oh,
Charlie, I've directed Charlie. I acted alongside Charlie in the past, and I'm just very fortunate. Charlie's an incredibly talented audiobook narrator. He also did Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver that won the Pulitzer, and so I definitely felt I was punching above my weight class in the audiobook. And I'm just so grateful to Charlie that he recorded it while he was literally in tech for his Broadway debut in Liberation, which has been getting so much acclaim since it opened a couple months ago.
And he's a fellow Brown alumnus.
He is, yes. Charlie and I both got our MFAs at the Brown Trinity Rep MFA program. We started in 2009, graduated class of 2012.
Okay, so I have two more questions about the Book
Yeah,
of Luke.
please.
We're gonna put the premise in the article so we don't have
Okay,
to waste time.
great.
But the first question I have, did when you were putting the book together, did anyone go, by the way, the singer of Toto, Steve Lukather, has a book called The Book of Luke. Don't name it
Really?
this?
I did not know this. I
Oh,
news to me, but it's cool. I mean, I who doesn't love because Toto's I felt the rains down in Africa, right?
yes.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Love the song. Had no idea.
Well, now you could start a social media war as part of the marketing campaign, so
Or
you're welcome.
maybe not a war, maybe a conjunction, a collaboration.
Okay, so let me ask a different question. For
Yeah.
you, was the goal all along to be an author, or was this just a, hey, this is a better fit for a book than a movie?
I I think the answer to both questions is in some ways yes. I think I always had the siren call of fiction. I was a big reader growing up as a kid. I love books. Here in my you can see there's the giant bookshelf right
Wow.
there.
Nice taste too. Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, I've lugged that through three different apartments. And ironically enough, since becoming an author, you then get even more stacks of books because then you have to start reading the other authors whom you're meeting socially
sure.
because you want to be a good friend. So
Yeah.
there's a whole other stack on the other side of the room. But for this specific story, ironically enough, I knew just budget wise, if I was trying to write it as a pilot or as a film, it would probably still be living on my laptop just because in many ways it's a very expensive story. It's a
Mhm.
risky story in terms of some of the subject matter.
Yeah.
And I just knew that just on a purely practical level, there was probably a faster track, even though it was a 6-year track, to get it into the world starting with fiction and taking my chances there. But I also just think on a creative level, because as the episode description will say, it involves a former reality star having to go back into that world. And that world also serves in various metaphorical ways too of compromises we make, the political moment that kind of America's in right now. And it was very important to me to sort of put the reader in Luke's shoes. It's a first person narrative, and
Mhm.
consequently, he's very much a frog in boiling water. I don't think he's a terribly self aware character for all of his merits. I think that's his biggest kind of flaw that he is striving to overcome. And all the other flaws come as tributaries from that river. But I do think by putting it in the written word, having the reader really experience the twists and turns in his shoes,
Mhm.
um, I think that ultimately is what makes this certainly the best inaugural voyage for this character in this story, even if there is an adaptation later.
So we don't go over our time and I can let you be.
Yeah, no, and
Uh,
you've got me as long as you need me. Don't worry.
well, I was just curious in closing, if we're allowed to know what's next, or we just have to follow you on Instagram and that's how we'll know what's next when the time is right.
Instagram is definitely the best way at the moment. It's just my name at Lovell Holder. I want to say .com, but that doesn't exist. It's just at Lovell Holder. But I can freely say that I would love to see this story continue in some capacity, whether that is a TV show or another literary journey into the worlds of these characters. And yeah, that's the best way if someone is interested in that is just make sure people are buying the book, supporting it, rating, reviewing, because that is the kind of thing where, especially content that's rooted
Mhm.
so deeply in gay characters, at the end of the day, in a post-heated rivalry world,
Right.
money is still what talks. And for people in those decision-making powers to see, oh, there is an established audience, there is an established following, that's similar to even something like Crazy Rich Asians a couple years ago. They need to see that people will show up for this project. Uh, despite whatever risk might be on paper or for whatever algorithm they have going on behind the scenes.
Well, looking forward to all that's coming next. Please be kind to Steve Lukather from Toto in the meantime.
I will be nothing but I will shower Mr. Steve from Toto with nothing but the utmost respect and admiration.
Paltrocast.